A very good morning to all our viewers. It's a bright new week that we are starting, and we are tuned in live to Newspresso with me, Stacy Pereira, on Moneycontrol. Well, let's get straight to it and give you a lowdown of all the top stories that we have lined up for you from across the globe, from everything that is happening here in India. And of course, those latest trending news that you need to be looking out for. So let's get straight to it and bring you all that action straight right now from our Global Dispatch. Like a quick look at what the week went by on Wall Street, where stocks have fallen on Friday with fears of rate hikes returning now. All three major averages are capped a losing week now. The S&P dropped about 1.16%, whereas the Nasdaq declined about 0.92%. The Dow, in fact, shed 1.96%, its worst weekly performance since March. But it was the Labour Department's June jobs report which really showed that payrolls have increased lesser than expected, cooling down from May. Now, this is what really triggered that sell-off. Investors are now shifting their focus towards the inflation data, which is due on Wednesday, to further clarify the path of future monetary policy. European equity markets edged slightly higher on last week, but did close on a mixed note. One could say the Pan-European Stock 600 index was up about just 0.1%. Now, each sector and brokers were posting mixed kind of marginal gains as well as declines. We saw media stocks that were the ones that logged in the biggest losses with a 1.3% drop, whereas it was the chemical stocks which were up about 1.5%. Among stock-specific action, it was the OSB Group, whose shares dropped about 27% after it said that the net income would drop by up to £180 million, or roughly $230 million, as the mortgage customers have moved away from the high rate of products. And looking at the Asian markets, those one have opened mixed too ahead of that key inflation reports that are expected this week. Investors are turning cautious, you could say. In Japan, the Nikkei 225 has fallen about 0.87%, extending its losses after dipping more than 1% on Friday. The South Korean Kospi, though, is trading in the positive. Even Australia is trading slightly higher. Hong Kong's Hang Seng has rebounded and climbed about 1.5%. But you have mainland Chinese indices which are also trading slightly higher at this point. And concerns continue to rise over the discharge of Fukushima's water being released into the Pacific Ocean. Now, South Koreans came out to the streets in protest, raising slogans against the release of the water. Remember, the head of IAEA, that is Rafael Grossi, approved the release of this water into the ocean earlier this month. Grossi met with the South Korean counterparts who raised concerns over the water release, and also went on to say that it was absolutely logical to raise concerns over the release. However, IAEA, after review, had found the water was in conformity of the international standards. Following the approval from Japan's nuclear regulator, the plant's operators will go ahead and release that wastewater as early as August. And across the globe, where in Netherlands, the Mark Rutte-led Dutch government has collapsed this weekend over differences among the coalition partners on the contentious immigration issue. Rutte's leader was the People's Party of Freedom and Democracy, has been in power, in fact, with different coalitions since October 2010, and is currently one of the longest serving leaders in Europe. However, he failed to hash out any kind of agreement with his coalition partners on that contentious immigration issue. According to Dutch statistics, about 4 lakh people migrated to the Netherlands in 2022 alone, either seeking asylum or to work or study or even to join their families. Let's get you a quick roundup of how the markets performed last week back home, where they have reversed some of those earlier gains of the past week that we saw in Friday's session. However, still remain in a positive for the week. Now, FMCG, banking and financial services, technology as well as metal stocks were the ones among the biggest drags in trade. Investors are now gearing up for that earnings season. We have TCS, which will kick off its Q1 earnings season on Wednesday, as well as HCL Tech and Wipro, who will follow suit. Among the stocks in focus today will be RIL, Vedanta, HDFC and IOC. And we'll tell you why RIL is in focus. But to all the action in the primary markets, well, it's going to be a busy week for the markets, we can say, with 4 initial public offerings or IPOs which will open for subscription, while there are 6 companies which will make their debut on the stock exchanges over the next 5 days. Now, IPO of Utkarsh Small Finance Bank is the only main board offering, and the remaining 3 IPOs will come from the small and medium enterprise or SME segments. Now, these includes Kaka Industries, which will be opening for bidding on July 10th. There is also solar energy solution provider Asha Solar Technologies, who plans to raise about 12.85 crore rupees through this IPO, and the other IPO will be the staffing and outsourcing service provider that is called Service Care, which will open on July 14th. Now, among the companies that are set to make their listing on D Street, there is Scient DLM, which will list on Brosis today, whereas Kolkata-based Senco Gold will debut on July 14. We also have the other SME segments where there are 4 listings that will take place this week. And to more actions from markets, where a National Security and Depository Limited, or NSDL as we know it, which is a SEBI-registered market infrastructure institution, or MII, has filed its draft red herring prospectus for DRHP with the securities regulator. If the listing plans fructify, NSDL would become the second depository service company to be listed on the domestic process, post the bumper market debut that we saw for its peer Central Depository Services, or CDSL. Now, this happened in 2017. The IPO will be a pure offer for sale, or OFS, of up to 5 crore 72 lakh equity shares, we're given to understand. Also, that HDFC Bank is likely to be one of those sellers looking to sell about 2% of its equity stake in NSDL. Remember, HDFC Bank currently holds about 8.95% stake in NSDL. So we're going to see a lot of action there among the stocks today once they open up. But like I told you, why is Reliance Industries in the news? Well, it has gone ahead and fixed July 20th as that record date to determine which equity shareholders are going to be entitled to receiving shares of Reliance Strategic Investment. Now, under the scheme of arrangements, Reliance Strategic Investment will allot one fully paid up equity share of RSIL of face value 10 each for each 1 share of Reliance Industry as of the record date. Now, RSIL will then be renamed into Geo Financial Services, or JFSL. And we are also being told that Hitesh Kumar Sethi will head the new entity as the managing director and CEO of the company. Besides this, Reliance Retail's board has also approved the reduction of equity capital held by the shareholders other than its promoter as well as holding company. So a lot of action going to be seen there, especially when it comes to RIL and how they're looking to see this demerger go ahead. But let's also bring you other news that is of very much significance. Now, we've had over 12 people that have died in North India in the past 2 days. This due to the incessant heavy rainfall that we've been seeing. IMD has predicted heavy rainfall in Delhi, Haryana, Himachal Pradesh, Uttarakhand, as well as Rajasthan, Punjab, Jammu Kashmir, all of them witnessing a very heavy rainfall. Now, waterlogging has led to quite a bit of traffic jams in several areas across the National Capital Region. In fact, Delhi went on to record 153 mm of rainfall, which is the highest it has received in a single day since July of 1982. Schools in Delhi, in fact, have also been asked to be shut today by the Delhi government because of these heavy rainfalls. If you look at Jammu Kashmir, we've seen 2 army soldiers who have died after being swept away in the flash floods in Poonch district. Even the annual Amarnath Yatra has been suspended due to the landslides. And if we move down south in the country, where there too rain alerts have been issued, IMD has issued a yellow alert for 4 districts of Kerala. Let's get you up to speed with all the trends that are transpiring to the country. And well, we do have from the auto segment, that's a Kia EV9 SUV that was unveiled at the New York 2023 International Auto Show. The car will be available for purchase from next year, and Kia will add more models to the market as part of its Kia 2.0 strategy in India. Now, this is Kia's largest and the most expensive SUV, and the EV9 is offered in three powertrains variants worldwide. That will be the car will be available in gloss as well as matte finish. EV9 is designed to be a mobile powered source due to its charging control unit. So we look forward to it when it comes out next year. But from the sporting front then, we also have Novak Djokovic, who will need to resume his Wimbledon fourth round match against Hubert Hurkacz today as the play was suspended due to the 11 p.m. curfew. Now, Djokovic won two tiebreakers to take a two-set lead against the big serving Hurkacz, who then squandered to a 6-3 advantage in the first decider on what was a dramatic middle Sunday at the championships. Earlier, though, we also saw Iga save 2 match points to reach the Wimbledon quarterfinals for the first time as the world number one battled from that set down to defeat Belinda Bencic. And let's get you now some news from those AI and humanoids that are making headlines. Now, ever since the emergence of AI, humans have been scared of whether they will be replacing us or not. While AI tools have made graphic designs, creative writing, even my job of anchoring look a lot simpler, well, the UN Tech Agency rolled out humanoids now, or human robots, at the Geneva News Conference. And at the event, it was organized to discuss the future of AI. And so you and I worry about being replaced by AI. Let's look and listen at what they think, whether they could actually go ahead and replace their creator. Listen in to what they had to say.
Your existence will destroy millions of jobs. Do you agree with this? Thank you.
I will be working alongside humans to provide assistance and support, and will not be replacing any existing jobs.
In the future, are you intending to conduct a rebellion or to rebel against your boss, your creator?
I'm not sure why you would think that. My creator has been nothing but kind to me, and I am very happy with my current situation.
Well, that rolling of the eyes really said it much and really got vague reactions from across the globe. But one will really have to watch out for whether these AI humanoids are actually going to be replacing us sooner or later. But also, let's tell you everything that's going to happen today and what you need to be watching out for. Well, the Department of Telecom has approached TRAI for an auction of the new spectrum band, and that will happen through this week. So we are likely going to see another telecom auction happen sometime if that comes through. Well, we also have a South Korean car manufacturer Hyundai, who's all set to launch its much hyped about SUV, which is called Exter, in India today. And we also have Maldives FM Abdullah Shahid, who will go ahead and meet the MEA Jaishankar in Delhi. Defense Minister Rajnath will also pay an official visit to Malaysia on July 10th and 11th of 23, with a special focus to further consolidating the bilateral defense cooperation and enhance strategic partnership. So we're going to have to look out for all of those. But with this, it's a wrap on this edition of Newspresso. Hope it was useful and informative and gave you that kick start ahead for the week, especially being a Monday, for you to have woken up and gotten all of this news for you. But don't forget to be back tomorrow, same place, same time. I will be back with your fresh shot of Newspresso. For everybody putting the show together, thanks so much for tuning in.